Hi and welcome. I recently got inspired by a LinkedIn post and thought this topic could be perfect for my YouTube channel. And I'm talking about job trends in 2025 here in Sweden. Here's my first tip when you're looking for a job in Sweden: be on LinkedIn. I will definitely link the post I saw on LinkedIn by Amanda down in the description below so you can actually see what it was about and also maybe connect with her because she's all about helping people finding a job here in Sweden. But yeah, I took her post to research a little bit more and to see what is actually trending in 2025 here in Sweden. And this question will be super important for people who are looking for jobs here in Sweden, who want to move to Sweden and want to know what the job market is like. But before we start, thank you so much for your support, for liking this video and also for subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me. And if you want to know more about life in Sweden, I also have a newsletter. There's a link in the description down below where you can subscribe, and you also get a little ebook with 10 questions to see if Sweden is the right fit for you. Let's get started. So let's look at the bigger picture first. What's happening in Sweden's economy in 2025? Is it worse or is it better? So let's break down a little bit before we dive deeper into the job market. So according to the European Commission's autumn 2024 economic forecast, such a long name, Sweden's economy had a weak growth in 2024. That is the bad news, but the good news is that it's 2025 now and the recovery is on the horizon. So in 2025, Sweden's GDP, which stands for gross domestic product, so basically the total value of everything the country produces, is expected to grow by 1.8%. Maybe that doesn't sound like a big growth, but after a slow growth, that is a positive shift in the economy. And what is the impact on jobs? So when the economy grows, that means unemployment is decreasing. And compared to 2024, that means that there will be more jobs available in 2025 here in Sweden. And that means if you want to move to Sweden, but also people who are looking for jobs here in Sweden already have a good outlook in 2025, especially if you are specialized and have special skills, because these will be in high demand. So overall, things are moving in the right direction in Sweden's economy. Let's talk a little bit about the most in-demand jobs here in Sweden. So first of all, according to the Manpower Group Employment Outlook survey for Q1 2025, Swedish employers report a stable employment forecast of 17%, the most optimistic in a year. So that means high demand roles in 2025 are banking, finance and real estate professionals with plus 43%. Then there is healthcare and life science specialists, plus 26%. Service industry, wholesale and retail trade workers, plus 24%. IT industry experts, plus 23%. And then we have raw materials, green energy, construction and defense industry professionals, plus 18%. And telecom and media industry experts, plus 11%. So that is quite a variety of roles, which is a very positive thing. Sectors with a slower growth are transport, logistics and automotive industry, plus 2%, and traditional energy and community services with 0%. So if you're in one of these high demand fields, then 2025 looks pretty good for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you're looking for a job here in Sweden, what you're looking for, or if you're already in one of those industries. It is interesting to know what people are looking for, but also where they're already working. Let's talk a bit about job market trends, what's changing. One very interesting insight is that people are going freelance. Self-employment is on the rise in Sweden, and by 2025, around 30% of the workforce is expected to be freelancing or running their own businesses. I find that is quite a huge number and very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So more people are quitting their 9-to-5 jobs and joining a more flexible and independent lifestyle. So freelancing and consulting is a more common thing these days, and also industries are adapting to it. And I will talk about this a little bit more at the end of this video, because the LinkedIn post I mentioned at the very beginning of this video was about freelancing and consulting, so there will be more insights about that. But then also companies want specialists, less generalists. So if you're job hunting and you have a very specialized skill, then 2025 in Sweden could be the year for you. And as mentioned, especially in tech, healthcare, and green energy, if you have any skills in these industries, very high specialized skills, then this could be a really good chance for you to get a job here in Sweden. But one thing I also want to talk about is jobs opportunities depending on where you are located in Sweden. And not all areas in Sweden are seeing the same job growth. And one area in particular, I had to look up where that actually is, but it's called Götaland. And this area is doing well with strong hiring activity, while central Sweden is kind of stagnating. So location is also quite important when it comes to jobs here in Sweden. Let's have a look a little bit at a graph where it says where the region's employment forecast is. Östra Götaland says plus 24%, Västra Götaland plus 21%, Northern Sweden plus 17%, the Stockholm and Uppsala region plus 11%. So although Stockholm is like the biggest city, the growth is not all there, which is very interesting, I thought. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Then we have central Sweden with Södermanland, Västmanland, Värmland and Örebro counties plus 5%, and then Skåne and Blekinge counties plus 2%. So that would be the south of Sweden, which is like the lowest growth. And just if you want to know the cities in Götaland, but you can obviously look it up yourself, but Göteborg is one of them, Malmö, which are obviously the second and the third largest cities here in Sweden, and also Jönköping, Linköping, Växjö and Kalmar, just to name a few. But then also an interesting insight that there is confidence back in the job market. After some tough economic times, things are looking up for 2025, and the Swedish employers are more optimistic about hiring with a plus 17% employment forecast, the most positive it's been in a while. So that is really good news, and that's a sign that the job market is bouncing back and companies are ready to expand again. Something which might not be as new, but tech jobs are booming. So if you work in tech, you are in luck. Roles like full stack developers, software engineers, cloud architects, and cybersecurity specialists are in high demand. Sweden is really pushing for digital innovation, which means plenty of opportunities in this field. When I look at Germany, like digitalization is definitely much slower, so Sweden has really a lot of potential here. Also, green energy is growing, although it has its challenges at the same time. Sweden is all about sustainability and investing in green energy. However, not everything is smooth sailing. Big companies like Northvolt, you maybe have heard about it, have run into financial issues, proving that while green energy is the future, it's not always easy to make it profitable. And then one thing to just bear in mind, traditional industries are slowing down a little bit, like manufacturing, transport, and other traditional industries are struggling a bit thanks to automation, global competition, and the shift towards sustainability. So it's obviously very important for people in the industry in general to reskill and adapt where it is necessary. And last but not least, another thing which is happening here in Sweden is that the government is stepping in. The Swedish government is actively supporting job growth with investments in tech and green energy. There are also programs to help people upskill and transition into more in-demand careers. So if you're thinking of a career switch, that also might be a good time right now. And if you're interested in more details, I have a few resources I can definitely send to you. So just leave a comment down below and I can link to the different resources just to leave it a little bit more structured. So let's have a little recap. What does it actually mean for you? Specialize in high demand tech skills. As mentioned, roles such as full stack developers, software engineers, cloud architects, and cybersecurity specialists are in high demand. Focusing on these can enhance employability, but of course not everyone, is specialized in that. I'm not specialized in that myself, but that doesn't mean that you don't have any opportunities here in Sweden, of course. And then more in general, embrace a lifelong learning. Of course, that is always the case. You cannot be stuck sometimes, especially With the rise of AI and machine learning, these are two areas which are, globally a very attractive area to enhance your skills in. That is also quite crucial to stay competitive. Then, of course, consider regional opportunities. Maybe do not always look in the areas like Stockholm. There are other cities, but also areas in general in Sweden, which are very attractive and have a great job growth, which we just discussed in this video. And then also leverage internship and networking. And I know internship sounds a little bit weird, especially if you're already established in a career. But internships, I think, are great if you want to make a switch into careers, or also if you, come from another country and you want to foot into, in a company, in an industry, then maybe consider an internship, even if, it maybe feels weird because you have worked in the past. But then also networking is very, very important. And LinkedIn is a good platform for online networking, but also try to, attend networking events. I try to make connections and expand your network in general, because that will help you to find a job in Sweden as well. Or let's say it increases your opportunities. Last but not least, stay informed on industry trends. I mean, that is probably not only in Sweden the case, that you should always have a look what's in demand, maybe change your career or maybe upskill, try to stay ahead and see what companies really need and act accordingly. We don't always have to just stay where we are. We always have the opportunity to learn more. And then let's talk a little bit about the freelancing booming in Sweden. That's an exciting part for me because I am, a consultant, I'm a freelancer, I have my own business. So that's probably why I was drawn to this LinkedIn post I mentioned earlier and wanted to learn a little bit more about the status here in Sweden. So basically, more professionals are choosing to work independently rather than sticking to a traditional employment. So according to Brainwell's latest report, the number of freelancers on their platform grew by 24%, reaching an all-time high in 2024. And that number, as we heard, will increase even in 2025. And why is freelancing growing? On the people's part, obviously, for them, it is a more flexible way of working. People want more control over their work-life balance, although in Sweden already, compared to other countries, the work-life balance is not too bad. But then there's also higher earning potentials. Skilled consultants can often charge higher hourly rates than salaried employees. That might be very attractive. But of course, taxes need to be factored in here as well. And then on the company side, for them, freelancers and consultants are also a little bit more attractive because, they can hire specialized consultants for short-term projects and are, not required to keep them for a longer period of time and all the financial, challenges which come maybe with that. But of course, being a freelancer or consultant isn't without challenges. I mean, it's great that numbers are increasing, but that also means that the competition is increasing. Based on the report I mentioned earlier, the number of available consultants hit an all-time high in 2024, meaning freelancers need to stand out to secure work. And again, networking also comes into play here. And rates are not always keeping up with inflation. So while demand of specialized skills like project management, UX, UI, and data science is growing, wages in some fields, especially IT development, haven't increased as much as they should. So that is also something to bear in mind. And something which maybe is not as flexible as freelancers maybe would love to have, but hybrid work is replacing full remote jobs. It is a little bit harder to find an entire remote job, and hybrid is more the way to go for companies where you still have to every now and then come into the office. But here also it's important to know, specialize in high demand skills like project management, AI or cybersecurity, or there are obviously many others. Build a strong network. So that is obviously very important. It is important when you're looking for a job, but it's also important when you work for yourself to have and expand your network. And LinkedIn is a really, really good platform. LinkedIn is very big here in Sweden, so everyone is pretty much using it here. And then stay flexible. I mean, again, if you can't find a 100% remote role, maybe do a hybrid role and still have a flexibility to a degree. So yeah, this was Swedish job market trends for 2025 from different sources. I will link all the sources down in the link below so you can look at all the graphs and everything, and you can read everything yourself. I've not made this up, I did my research, but do let me know what you think. Are you feeling motivated for 2025 to find a job here in Sweden, maybe even to move to Sweden for a job? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you have found this video useful, then make sure to like it and also subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on. And I see you in my next video. Hej då!